Coming up on Texas Parks and Wildlife.
Anytime you see one getting even a little bit close, your heart starts racing. You're like, oh, please, please be in front of me.
Yes, we do have a few alligators. They're a major attraction, and we're hoping that really pulls in some of the locals because they're really interested and often come just to see the alligators and walk out of the park.
When I saw the condition of the marshes around here, what I wanted to do was work towards restoring them. That's where the old surface was, something that could support itself for fish and wildlife and recreational use.
Texas Parks and Wildlife, a television series for all outdoors.
This series is funded in part by a grant from the Wildlife and Sportfish Restoration Program. Through your purchase of hunting and fishing equipment and motorboat fuels, over $40 million in conservation efforts are funded in Texas each year.
Additional funding provided by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
This is a goose hunting story about two Laurens. Lauren Carley,
I like to do different things. I like to do new things.
a new hunter, and a nature lover.
All right, guys.
I've been down there.
Do y'all want to see some grapes that actually grow wild here? Yeah?
And Lauren Laborde, an avid hunter,
You go.
a busy mom, and a 9-to-5er, eager for the escape.
Get out, you know, away from the computer screen. Stop picking up the phone. Stop clicking the mouse.
Both are here for a special women's-only goose hunt, setting their sights on a new outdoor experience. It's early December, and amongst some coastal farmland, local guide Nick Stillwell takes a peek at tomorrow's hunting spot.
We're out here south of Bay City, looking good. A lot of snow geese, anywhere from 10 to 12,000 birds been coming in here. Anytime you're hunting snow geese, you never know what they're gonna do. They're the smartest bird out here, so I'm always nervous hunting these birds.
I'm ready to shoot some geese.
It's 4 in the morning, and the ladies are a short ride from the decoy spread.
Yeah, if I can find that ridge, it's a little ridge, little sandbar. You put them into the wind, you kind of just give a little pop like that, and that wind will catch it and move it and all that good stuff.
This is all new. This is all new to me. I am actually kind of sick. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous about everything that's going on. I don't really know what to expect.
It's warm. I think I'm overdressed. 66 degrees this morning is pretty warm.
For Lauren Laborde, this time outdoors is a much-needed break. A break from here.
So I work for a gas company, and I do contract compliance.
What was going on with the schedule for the platform prep?
It's tedious work. It's a lot of reading, a lot of emails.
So they're still at the dock. They haven't left.
It's not as exciting as being out in the field and getting to go hunting or anything like that.
The excitement's picked up considerably on the home front with 15-month-old Braylon.
Hey, you hungry? You want to eat, or do you want to help Dada?
Dad is Todd. Both work full days, so life is busy.
Quick meals, nothing that takes a lot of time.
We still have all of the geese from the shoot. We still haven't been able to actually cook them.
We got them, so we were gonna make gumbo, but...
So there's the geese back here.
Braylon decides to interrupt every time we try.
But Todd really wants to do like a goose gumbo.
It's all about the roux.
There you go.
With such a full schedule, escapes to the outdoors are a priority.
This because we're an awesome team and I have the best husband in the entire world.
Aw, thank you, honey.
That lets me go goose hunting and watches the baby and... I don't think there's any other way that I could live life. You have to have that balance. When dawn breaks and you're laying flat on your back and you're looking up at the sky and you're hearing all the little critters, you know, that's when I think the calmness comes in.
Keep real still when we're decoying birds. Don't be fidgeting, wait for me to call the shot. I'll say take them. That's about it. Lay down. Wow, look at that. Y'all get ready.
I am really hesitant. I'm kind of slow to get up. I've never shot up to shoot. I've always been standing and hitting something that's going in a uniform pattern. Yeah, I'm a little hesitant.
For Lauren Carley,
We're going down this way.
she's never hesitant when it comes to helping kids at her day job.
This is Lake Houston Wilderness Park.
Let's slide!
And I'm the park naturalist here. I take care of all of the kids programs, weekend programs, nature center stuff.
Hang on, guys.
I've always loved the woods. Ever since I was a kid, I was running around the woods barefoot.
Yep, there's a hill.
Let's go. Meow.
I love bringing kids especially into the outdoors and getting them to feel passion for it as I do. If you chew on the leaves of this tree, it will make your mouth go numb.
I can reach it.
The nickname for this tree is toothache tree. Kind of weird, huh?
Yeah.
Muscadine grapes grow on here. I've tried them. I don't like them. They taste kind of funny. I like the regular grapes that you buy at the store.
Lauren's Nature Center
It's a milk snake.
is where the hands-on or fingers-on learning really
I want
happens.
you to do 2 fingers. Can I see your 2 fingers? I do a lot of education.
That's cool.
A lot of people that live in the cities, they think the outdoors are scary.
He slayed me.
And this is a way of sort of bringing them out, showing them things, especially things that I have in the nature center, that it's not scary. Everything's out here isn't gonna kill you. Red and black.
Red and black.
Friend of Jack.
It's now mid-morning in Bay City. The wind has picked up, but geese are still coming in.
It should get better as the day goes on. They'll start coming in here and getting thirsty after they feed. We'll see what happens. We got a single right here. Bonnie, here.
For Texas Parks and Wildlife, this is a chance to get more ladies interested in hunting.
I got together with a couple of friends and contacted some outfitters to put together a hunt that's designed for women. I wanted for women to feel like they can give themselves permission to go outdoors. And so when they're able to do this, there's a confidence that's involved in this.
Yes, who was that?
As for Lauren Carley, her confidence is getting better.
Anytime you see one getting even a little bit close, your heart starts racing. You're like, oh, please be in front of me. But I'm getting more comfortable as the day goes on.
Nice shot. Atta girl.
They just kept coming pretty much all day. So that was cool.
There's really not that much out there for us ladies to get together. So it was nice to have an opportunity to get together with other ladies who share the same interest or want to learn more.
We shot 20 birds today. Yeah, pretty good for some ladies here.
I think we did a good job.
The wetlands of the upper Texas coast provide critical habitat for fish, wildlife, plants, and insects. But coastal erosion and sea level rise threaten this ecosystem. The challenge is to assemble a network of people.
We're running 5 and 6 right now.
A team that can cooperate and contribute towards the goal of restoring and protecting the marsh. That's where Mike Rezsutek comes in.
When I saw the condition of the marshes around here, what I wanted to do was work towards restoring them to maybe not what we had 100 years ago, but maybe something that could support itself for fish and wildlife and recreational use. But you can't do it all by yourself. You've got to have partners.
Ducks Unlimited and Texas Parks and Wildlife have a long history of cooperatively working together towards conservation.
Keeping it out of the weather saves wear and tear on these bearings here.
Ducks Unlimited provides some engineering and on-the-ground expertise to match the wildlife management objectives that the department has.
From rebuilding marshes with dredge material to protecting them with rock walls,
I'm going to give you a brief overview of...
Mike is transforming his vision of a restored marsh into reality.
There's just no way to do a project this big for one agency or even two agencies. We've got to have partners. The private industry has the resource. In this case, it's the dredge material. Parks and Wildlife and Ducks Unlimited had the expertise. So for those unfamiliar with the project, Golden Pass needed to dredge their berth.
Mike is comfortable in a school group.
Basically, all we did was...
Mike's comfortable in a group of businessmen.
Really was a substantial cost savings to them.
He's comfortable at the city council or the county commissioner's court.
We've got a really nice marsh.
And it's that ability to find a way to communicate with people at all those levels that makes him the linchpin in developing partnerships.
That's where the old surface was.
That result in habitat restoration.
We make that decision and move forward.
And put conservation on the ground.
And then we learn from what we've done.
The Murphy staff here and Mike have a vision for what they want to see on the landscape. It's not project by project. It's a long-term perspective.
My philosophy is kind of expressed by a very wise man named Anonymous. Think of all the great things we can do if we don't worry who gets the credit. I didn't do this by myself. Everybody that works with me is part of this. We've got a lot of work left to do, and I don't care who gets the credit. I want everybody to come together and work towards a common goal. We can worry about doing the credit later. Let's get the marsh restored first.
Can you see that snowy egret? Yeah, and can you see its legs?
Way down in South Texas, there's a place where you can go to see birds.
Yeah, its feet are yellow and its legs are black.
Lots of birds.
This is Estero Llano Grande State Park in Rezsutek, Texas. Part of the World Birding Center.
One on the left is probably a Couch's or a tropical kingbird.
And there's a least grebe in the middle of the pond. No.
The World Birding Center consists of 9 sites throughout the Rio Grande Valley. 3 of those are state parks.
I'd like to welcome you all to Estero Llano Grande State Park.
Here you can see birds in a tree, birds on the water, birds on a wire, and birds on a nest.
In the park, we have approximately 216 bird species recorded. On just a regular day, you can sit on this deck for an hour or two and easily spot 30 to 40 species of birds.
All of these birds come to Estero Llano Grande because there is a lot of different habitat in a little bit of area.
We have shallow wetlands, deep wetlands, woodlands, thorn scrub.
The diverse habitat brings in the diverse species, and that's really important to have here in South Texas. Diversity begets diversity.
This is what the fulvous compared to the black-bellied, which we saw a lot of.
What have we seen today? Black-bellied whistling duck, black-necked stilts, beautiful views of Asura today. For us eastern birders, these are southern specialties.
Not all of the residents of Estero Llano Grande have wings. The birds share the space with a variety of animals, some slow, some slithery, and some substantially sizable.
Yes, we do have a few alligators. They're a major attraction, and we're hoping that really pulls in some of the locals because they're really interested and often come just to see the alligators and walk out of the park.
We do have a family of alligators that live out here, 2 adults.
So many people in the valley haven't heard of this park. It's often that you forget about the things that are closer to you and you travel to go see these amazing things.
See them, they'll be swimming out here, getting some air.
We're starting to teach them by these school groups. They're quite amazed at what is right here in their backyards. There's something for everybody here at our park.
This is called an Illaris 360, and what it is it's a LiDAR scanner. While that's booting, I'll open up the software that controls it. LiDAR is just like radar or sonar, except it uses laser light instead of sound or radio waves. Okay, and then we've got about 30 seconds while it boots, 60 seconds while it boots. It's remarkably boring, actually. It's horribly boring. The best part is going in and out of this cool cave, really.
Every spring, millions of Mexican free-tailed bats migrate north to roosting sites in Texas. One of those sites is the Devil's Sinkhole State Natural Area. Located about 100 miles west of San Antonio, near the town of Rocksprings, the Devil's Sinkhole isn't just a big hole in the ground. It's a perfect place for bats to raise their young. All summer long, the bats cling to the walls of the sinkhole, emerging each evening to search for food.
This was a flooded aquifer at one point, and the water was supporting probably about 40% of the weight of the roof. And then the water level probably dropped, so then the whole thing kind of collapsed down and formed this vertical shaft. So the bottom is about 300 to 400 feet below the surface.
The Mexican freetail comes up here because we have caves in this area. It's a karst area, they call it, and it's like Swiss cheese.
You go out to the sinkhole and it's impressive in itself just looking down into it. And then when you see the bats come out, and that's really, really impressive as well. But you don't really get a feel for the real magnitude of it, or the fact that where you're standing underneath the ground is completely open space. You don't get the feel for that size, the sheer magnitude of this hole is really impressive.
There we go. You don't want to be on the rock.
Because the Devil's Sinkhole is such a fragile and potentially dangerous environment, access is limited. The only way into the cave is by rappelling down 150 feet of rope.
Looking good.
This group of visitors is a special one, comprised of elite cavers, biologists, and geologists.
Radio slack.
Slack. They've come to map the inside of the sinkhole using laser technology.
The thing that's really intriguing about this is that it's sort of like a giant case study where I can go look at the underground rock formations in 3 dimensions. I can walk around, and look at the walls of the cave, and I can measure the thicknesses of the various beds and begin to put together sort of a vertical sequence of the history of Texas. The only thing better would be if you could actually walk through the walls. Then that would be even, that'd be even better. As the mirror pans the laser back and forth, you get individual points that it records the XYZ position of each laser shot. And at the end of the day, you have a 3D point cloud of laser points.
Okay, let's start again. If you want to visit the sinkhole, your journey begins in Rocksprings at the Visitor Center, which is home to the Devil's Sinkhole Society. Here you can watch a video about the sinkhole, or look at photographs of the sinkhole, or see maps of the sinkhole.
On belay 1 and 2.
What you cannot do is drop into the sinkhole. And that's where the geologists with the lasers come in.
So the objective of what we're doing is we're shooting a laser model to recreate this space digitally, where we can show people what it's like to be at the bottom of this hole without having to drop down 150 foot on a piece of rope.
8.85.
The goal of the project is to produce a 3D virtual tour of the sinkhole. Visitors will be able to fly around like a bat or drop down a digital rope and see what the sinkhole is really like.
But it's a totally different view from the bottom. And this 3D image will allow us to essentially fly through the entire cave system without having to leave the ground.
Okay, you ready?
The laser is known as LIDAR. That stands for Light Detection and Ranging.
Once it finds that position, then you can set up a scan for whatever angle you want.
The technology has been around since the 1960s, and it's been used for tracking satellites, mapping mountains, and charting the ocean's floor.
It times how fast that laser travels from the box to the surface and back, divides that in 2, multiplies by the speed of light, and you get a distance. And at the end of the day, you can reconstruct very accurately, down to the centimeter level, all the rock that you see here.
Ready?
In the traditional mapping method for caves, the mappers would go in with a tape measure and a compass.
15 foot, 5.5 inches.
And they'd literally measure this wide at this dimension, and they'd write down the number, and then they'd go to the next thing, and they'd measure. And it would take months to map a relatively small room.
70.5 degrees.
And really, in a matter of a few days, we were able to map the entire cave system at about a 1 centimeter point spacing. So it's extremely accurate.
The field work was the easy part of the project. Now, all that information collected by the LIDAR has to be entered into a computer. Since the information from the sinkhole is literally millions of points of data, the computer, in this case, is a bunch of computers, all tied together and working as one.
This has 256 processors, 256 times what a normal computer would have, and 256 gigabytes of memory, compared to a typical computer that might have 1, 2, or 4 gigabytes. A lot of power.
We're in a similar position here. You can see Devil's Sinkhole now. This little dark area, I'll zoom in on that right now. And it stands out quite nicely. Here you see the white limestone rim around the edge, and the dark spot in the center is the sinkhole itself. You know, this project basically could never have even been done before we implemented this laser scanning technology. You just couldn't physically do it. There was no real good way to do it. And now we can do it in just a few days.
The Devil's Sinkhole Mapping Project will allow geologists to study layers of the earth that often get overlooked. The park staff will be able to keep tabs on changes in the cave, and visitors to the sinkhole will be able to get a real feel of what it's like to be 300 feet down inside Texas.
This is an amazing project. For those folks who never get a chance to go down into it, they're going to get to view it as if they were going into it themselves.
This series is funded in part by a grant from the Wildlife and Sport Fish Restoration Program. Through your purchase of hunting and fishing equipment and motorboat fuels, over $40 million in conservation efforts are funded in Texas each year.
Additional funding provided by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.